let's start embroidering our inner borders. The inner border will fit into a 6x10 embroidery hoop, and on the Bernina that would be, for this design, a Midi hoop. We are going to load our Midi hoop with a piece of Polymesh stabilizer, and just like we have been doing, we're going to stitch a batting placement line, place our batting on top of those placement lines, tack them down and trim, and be sure to also trim the batting from between the two rectangles. I am going to only use one thread color, the color that I intend to quilt my border with, which is the yellow color number 741, in this entire project with my neutral thread in the bobbin. Once your batting is trimmed, we're going to return the hoop to the machine. We are going to stitch a border placement line so we know exactly where to put our 2 border strips. You have 4 border strips in your kit, 2 at one length and 2 at another. Doesn't matter which ones you do first. I would just suggest that in each hooping you do the 2 that are the same length. Ultimately, in this project, there will be 4 total hoopings to embroider 4 border strips. Once you have your placement lines stitched, we're going to take some paper tape, we're going to make some loops, and we're going to stick them above and below each rectangle. We want to take the fabric rectangle, our inner border piece, right side up. I want to come a 1/2 inch down, and I want that to line up with the edge of the batting. So I did put a little chalk mark there so that I just kind of have a visual. And then we're going to make sure that we stay inside of that line that we just stitched, and we're going to use the loops of tape to hold us in place. I'm going to do the same on the other side and hold that in place. We're going to return this to the machine. We're going to stitch the 2 basting boxes here so that they hold this in place, and then you can continue on with the quilting design. Once the design is complete, we are going to remove it from the hoop, but we're not going to do any trimming of any fabric, okay? First, before we do anything, I'm going to go ahead and reload my hoop so that I can go ahead and put it back on the machine and we can continue running the same design. We're going to do the same steps of running the placement line, tack our batting, and then trim our batting. So while that is running, we will spend some time trimming up this piece. We're using the same design, we haven't changed anything. I want to carefully fold up the non-quilted sections of the inner border. I'm going to remove the tape. You can either take a pair of scissors or a rotary cutter, and we want to trim right at the edge of the batting. Okay, we want to get rid of this excess stabilizer. Okay, we're going to cut up the side. Okay, just cutting off excess stabilizer. I'm going to pull back and remove the sticky tape from the top. I'm going to slide this back as well. And again, just get rid of stabilizer. Continue down the sides. Not cutting any fabric. And we're going to cut down the middle. Okay. Go to the machine. Again, we have putting down our batting, tacking in place. Okay. While that tacks in place, we're going to take the unquilted section and we're going to fold it up and fold it back onto itself so that the fold is right there at the tack down line of the batting. And we're going to do that the same on the other side. So we've got the quilting is hidden, okay, by the piece that's not quilted that we folded up and over. And we're going to let those hang out till we get what's on the machine trimmed and ready for it. We're going to return this to the machine and again stitch the border placement boxes around this so we know exactly where to put our fabric. Now that we have our border placement boxes stitched, we're going to take our loops of sticky tape and we're just going to put at the moment at the top of the rectangles. We're going to take our rectangle that we have folded back onto itself. There's the right side of our embroidery. We folded back the fabric so it's right sides together. I'm going to align that batting and the fold of the fabric right up next to the batting that's in the hoop. We're then going to carefully fold this fabric forward, keeping it inside of that placement line. And then I'm going to put a piece of tape across the bottom to hold that in place. Okay. So this fold and edge of batting butts right up next to this fold, making sure that you align them this way as well. Then take the unquilted fabric, fold it forward, align it inside of the placement box, and then take a piece of tape and tape it down. We're going to return it to the machine. We're going to stitch those basting lines down the sides and then run the quilt design for the project. Now, when the design is finished, you can remove it from the hoop, and we're going to do the same type of trimming that we did at the top, with only trimming next to the fabric and not through any of the fabric. We can here at the bottom trim even with the fabric versus and get rid of that batting. So I'm going to come here and I'm just going to cut that, and then we will work up the side. Get rid of that tape. Fold back these pieces, get rid of that tape, and again, cut the stabilizer only, and we can cut down the middle. You are going to repeat the same process that we just did with these two border pieces with the other two inner border pieces. Same technique, same thing. Your end result will be 4 quilted inner border pieces.